Good morning. Thank you for joining me for another 5 good minutes with the Word. I'm Barry Bryson, and we're continuing our study of the biographical Psalms of David. We're in Psalm 34, and we have a specific event that we can read about in 1 Samuel chapter 21, mentioned in the superscription. This is a song of David when he changed his behavior before Abimelech so that Abimelech drove him out and he went away. So David is hiding among the Philistines from Saul. And Abimelech, the king, it's pointed out that David is David. He's recognized as David, the one who defeats the Philistines, the one who killed Goliath. And so David, in order to save himself, acts like he's insane and drools down his beard and acts like he is insane. And Abimelech has what is to me the funniest line in all the Old Testament, maybe the funniest line in the Bible. He says, "Are there not enough insane people here that you had to bring this guy? Get rid of him." And so David, by pretending to be insane, by thinking quickly on his feet, and by doing this thing that was so convincing, escapes being executed by the Philistines. Interestingly enough, in Psalm 34, David gives all credit to God, not to his own quick thinking, which is an amazing thing to think about and an example for us all, because who gave David not only the strength in his arm to be a mighty warrior, but the brain in his head to know what to do in the moment? God did. Psalm 34, it has 22 verses. Now, most of the time when you see a psalm that has 22 verses or 44 verses, it's an acrostic. There are 22 letters in the Hebrew alphabet, and in this psalm, it's a near acrostic. David does this sometimes. He'll replace one letter, but otherwise it is an acrostic. In other words, the first verse begins with Aleph, A. The second verse begins with Beth, B. The third verse begins with Gimel, D, because that's how the Hebrew, and on through Tav at the end. In verse 22. But for some reason, he replaces the yod, the Y, with a pay, with the letter P. I don't know why he does that, but he replaces the yod with the letter P a second time, and I forgot to write that down for you, but it's something that he does again. It must be meaningful because he did it twice, but I don't know what the meaning of it is. Yod is the very first letter of God's name, Yahweh. I don't know that that has anything to do with it or not. But this is an acrostic, or a very near acrostic, 22 verses. Let's read it. I will bless the Lord at all times. His praise shall continually be in my mouth. My soul makes its boast in the Lord. Let the humble hear and be glad. Oh, magnify the Lord with me, and let us exalt his name together. I sought the Lord, and he answered me and delivered me from all my fears. Those who look at him are radiant, and their faces shall never be ashamed. This poor man cried, and the Lord heard him and saved him out of all his troubles. The angel of the Lord encamps around those who fear him, and he delivers them. O taste and see that the Lord is good. Blessed is the man who takes refuge in him. O fear the Lord, you his saints, for those who fear him have no lack. Young lions suffer want and hunger, but those who seek the Lord lack no good thing. Come, O children, listen to me. I will teach you the fear of the Lord. What man is there who desires life and loves many days, that he may see good? Keep your tongue from evil and your lips from speaking deceit. Turn away from evil and pursue good. Seek peace and pursue it. The eyes of the Lord are toward the righteous, and his ears toward their cry. The face of the Lord is against those who do evil, to cut off the memory of them from the earth. When the righteous cry for help, the Lord hears and delivers them out of all their troubles. The Lord is near to the brokenhearted and saves the crushed in spirit. Many are the afflictions of the righteous, but the Lord delivers him out of them all. He keeps all his bones, not one of them is broken. Affliction will slay the wicked, and those who hate the righteous will be condemned. The Lord redeems the life of his servant. None of those who take refuge in him will be condemned. There are so many references in the New Testament back to this psalm. There's verse 20, and that's referenced in the fact that Jesus' legs were not broken on the cross. There is those who would live life and see good days. That's quoted and referenced multiple times. And then there's the phrase that we know really well: the angel of the Lord encamps around those who fear him and delivers them. And then there's the, oh, taste and see that the Lord is good. I don't think that's an accidental mixing of metaphors. I think that's an intentional metaphor, saying use your five senses and experience the goodness of the Lord. This is not just something that's cerebral, but something that we experience with our eyes, our ears, our tongues, our fingers, our fingertips. We experience the Lord's goodness with our five senses. I think we've seen in this psalm just this celebration of God's deliverance, and it's celebrated and discussed from Aleph to Tav, from A to Z, from Alpha to Omega. And I think that's why the acrostic is the form that he takes in this psalm. I will have to point out that the quick thinking that God makes possible in David's brain caused him to pretend to be insane when he was not insane. And yet, he says, you need to keep your tongue from evil and your lips from speaking deceit. Technically speaking, his lips did not speak deceit, but his mouth drooled deceit and led Abimelech to believe that he was insane when he was not. David did not tell a lie, but he certainly pretended to be something that he was not in order to escape. Just bringing it up because it's there in the scriptures, and we quote these verses as true, and they are, and yet we have to some way harmonize what he says in verse 14 and with what we see him do in 1 Samuel. Okay, I think that's enough for right now. We're going to pick up with Psalm 38 next time, and thank you for joining me for another 5 good minutes.